What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I have a very special video. I am, for the first time, trying wide football boots from New Balance. They have been suggested to me multiple times in the comment sections of several of the other boots that I've reviewed, and the Furon V6 Pro is going to be today's special guest on this beautiful day. It is the 8th of November, and I'm very excited to share with you guys the New Balance Furon V6 Plus. Here we go. Okay, so a little background on the Furon. If you haven't seen the video of the normal, like regular fit New Balance Furon V6 Plus, I will link that in the description box below. It was a pretty good football boot. I ranked it actually higher than, at the time, not the Speed Flow, but the generation before that, and the X Ghosted. And the X Ghosted was something that I liked, but it wasn't amazing. And I think I ranked it higher than the Vapor as well, the Vapor 13, even though the Vapor 13 was fantastic. However, what I didn't realize and what I had been suggested was to try the wide variation. I have super wide feet, and so trying a wide pair of football boots really was never something that I thought was going to be part of my daily routine, basically. So yeah, I'm really excited for these. These are this is size 9 US, and this is the wide variation, the large variation. Yeah, let's hop straight into the video. Definitely comes in the normal New Balance box, just a big red box, similar to Puma, big red box with the white logo. It's got the New Balance logo on the top, and then the New Balance logo on the side spelled out. These are also the leather edition, so I don't think it's going to be anything crazy high quality leather, but it's definitely going to be a knit material with leather over the top, so that should be something super interesting. I'm really excited to see how these fit and feel, but let's get them out of the box first and actually see how they go. So it comes in with no string bag. New Balance does this. Adidas, for some of the lesser, like the non-elite models, don't have string bags, which is kind of annoying as well. Ooh, very cool. Okay, so these are gray with an electric yellow and orange accent. Let's get these out of the box really quick. I'm not sure how I feel about the look, I'm gonna be honest. The leather, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's get these out of the box. Okay, so again, New Balance Furon V6 Plus. Here they are. So they are this almost like a wolf gray. This sweatshirt that I'm wearing is like a charcoal gray, and this is like a lighter gray. So you can see kind of the difference between those two. Again, the electric yellow studs on the bottom, and then of course you have the New Balance logo with this, like, I don't know, claws or something going sideways, which is kind of cool. I don't know. This is kangaroo leather on the upper. There's definitely some padding on the inside of these boots, which I mentioned in the previous version of these that aren't the wide variation. But what I did notice right away outside of the box is actually how wide they are. If you see, there's a ton more width, especially in this area from here all the way down. Very, very cool. Let's get the paper out and see how soft these are. So the New Balance Furon V6 Plus has a knitted upper that has leather over it. This particular variation has leather over it, which I think is an interesting idea. And the leather actually covers quite a significant portion of the upper. So as you can see here, it's got leather all the way from here up, around, and then on that side down. So it actually covers the majority of the midfoot and the entire forefoot, which is kind of cool. It definitely makes for a thicker upper, so this is a speed boot, so it is pretty light. This is New Balance's speed model, and despite it being a leather upper, it is pretty light, so I'm impressed in that sense. I don't actually know, and I don't have a pair of the New Balance, the regular fitted version, so I don't know if they make the sole plate any wider. What my guess is that they have extra material that goes along the upper, and they make a larger larger molded upper essentially, so that there's more material to stretch for a wider fitting foot like myself or like you guys watching who are interested in those wide boots. But overall, aesthetics wise, I do think they look nice. I wouldn't complain wearing these. I'm not a huge fan of the neon designs. I'd rather it be totally wolf gray or maybe do black on these on the accents instead of the neon. I think it's the gray with the electric yellow and orange is sort of, I don't know, it's kind of a weird color combo. It's not my favorite. Stud pattern is 100% chevron studs. You've got the 7 up front, 4 in the back, as you can see here. So pretty straightforward. It's nothing special. To be honest, it looks kind of cheap compared to some of the other stud patterns out on the market, especially in the speed boot category. You've got a pretty tough lineup to compare with. Let's even go with like the least popular as far as how many people buy these, but the Mizuno Morelia Neo 3 Betas have a more sophisticated sole plate than this, in my opinion. They've got like a big ribbing thing here in the middle, and those feel amazing on feet. This honestly looks pretty cheap. Like, I think you could find it almost, this is going to sound kind of terrible, but this is something I feel like you could find in a $30 pair of Dick's Sporting Goods or Walmart pair of soccer boots. Yes, I'm probably sure it's way more solid than that, and it's actually like pretty snappy. So from that aspect, like performance-wise, it's probably just fine. It doesn't look very high quality, which for some of you may matter. For some of you, it might not. That's up to you to decide. So yeah, so again, it's got the knit around the collar, similar to other speed boots that we see on the market, similar to something like a Puma Future Z. So something like that, where you've got the knit, you've got the material down here, the synthetic or the sort of the more, I guess, coated material down here, and then you've got sort of that raw knit material up here. As far as softness goes, it is actually pretty soft for a boot that, you know, again, is, yeah, it feels pretty good. I think these will feel pretty comfortable. I don't know how easy they'll be to get on. The insole, let's check the insole out. Furon InfiniGrip Lightweight. So this actually reminds me a lot of the Puma Ultra 1.1 and 1.2 insert, which also had this same kind of matte finish that was pretty sticky. I don't think it's as sticky as the one from Puma, but it's there's nothing special about this. It's just has a little bit of extra stickiness to it. Wouldn't buy these boots for the insole, that's for sure. What else do we need to cover? So as far as speed boots go, just from taking these out of the box, I am impressed with what New Balance has done with the leather stuff. It's a bit of a chunky piece of leather on the outside, so we'll see how stretchy it actually becomes. I have moved a little bit out of the speed boot realm as a professional footballer and more into the control boot and sort of on the more, I like conical studs a lot better. So if something like a Morelia Neo 3 Beta, if it was wide enough, it's not. And I can't find any in my size, I'm sorry. I've been trying to. I really want to get a pair in so I can review them for you. You guys can see them on feet. I've tried on the normal Morelia Neo 3s without the knit in the tongue area and that stuff. They're the same boot essentially, and they're too thin. They don't fit my feet very well. And even those are a better product than something like this. And I can say that with conviction because I've tried both the regular version of this and the other one. However, something that this does have over a lot of other boot brands is that because it's a New Balance boot and because the demand for New Balance boots is not super high, you can often find these for $120 to $160 US, which is discounted from $220 or $200, $225 or $230 actually, which is where the starting price of these are. So as far as a value proposition, it actually might be the best value for money from a speed boot perspective. That would then move it sort of with the discounts into the territory of the second tier Mercurial, which I haven't tried on, but I've heard is just absolutely kind of ridiculously amazing for what kind of boot it is. But for something like this, for the Furon V6 Plus, To be honest, there's not a lot of pros that I see wearing these other than the ones that are the big name ones like Sadio Mane and stuff who have 100% custom boots, right? Like they have New Balance boots that have been custom fit to their feet. They have everything on there that they want. They have their own design, their own fit. Maybe there's material differences in their own boot, that kind of stuff. But for the regular consumer, right out of the box, I think number one, and we're talking right now, so today's November 8th, 2021. For what's on the market, I'd say if you're looking for a pair of speed boots, number one is the Speedflow, in my opinion. The Speedflow Point 1 or the Speedflow Plus is an incredible pair of boots, but let's go laced. So Speedflow Point 1 is number one. The Puma Ultra and the Vapor 14 are kind of tied for me. They're both pretty awesome pair of boots. I can't wear either of them because they're too thin, but they're performance-wise, they're amazing. I would probably honestly bump the Puma just a little bit higher than the Vapor simply for the price point. You're looking at $200 for the Ultra versus $230 or $240 for something like a Vapor 14. This one sits a little bit closer to like the $210, $220, and for that price point, New Balance just is sort of throwing themselves away. They're kind of killing themselves with this boot, and I say that with all the love in my heart because I think I appreciate them so much for making a wide pair of football boots that's actually dedicated towards wide feet. But again, what am I going to do if it doesn't fit as well and the quality's not as good? Who knows? That being said, the Furon V6 Plus has been a super popular boot recently. I've seen it in a lot of younger players, especially because New Balance has that reputation of being a sneaker company and doing a lot of running shoes and other things like that. And so that reputation carries over to the football boot industry where they can get a little bit of looks and people trying these on. The one thing that I think they need to do better at, though, is distributing to soccer stores, because places like soccer.com, obviously they'll carry everything, right? They carry Pantofola d'Oro, they carry the other kind of discrete brands, they'll carry New Balance, they carry Puma, obviously Nike, Adidas, all that stuff. But having these in the store for people to try, I think is an absolutely game-changing thing that they have to think about from the perspective of the consumer. So if I get to try this on and I go outside, you guys will see in just a sec when I go and do the on-feet portion of the video, when I try these on, if I love them, I would never, ever, ever think to buy these just from the online because of all the hype and all the marketing and all the stuff that goes on with some of the other boots. So that's something they have to think about from a marketing perspective. And you guys watching today, I'm really glad you're watching, because if I can shed some light on, hey, these wouldn't be my first choice, but they're incredibly comfortable for wide-footed players. The only reason, by the way, if you guys didn't hear crystal clear what I said before, the reason why, even if these fit really well, I'm not probably going to wear them that often, if ever, is because of the chevron studs. I have really moved away from those, and it's just because I like the feel of a conical stud better than I do a chevron stud, and that's from years of playing experience and playing with chevron studs and conical studs at the top levels. So that's just my 2 cents worth. That's my opinion. If you love chevron studs, which a ton of people do, and rightly so because they're amazing for traction, I think let's see how these fit and feel on feet once we get them on, and if these are an option for you. Obviously, these are the leather edition, but the wide variation of both the leather and the non-leather boot should fit roughly the same, except the leather boot will feel a little bit more padded, most likely, just given how thick this piece of leather is that's on the side. And it does have the little indentation for the kangaroo leather stamp, which is kind of cool as well. So overall, looks, I'll give it, it's pretty simple, to be honest. And again, I don't like the accents. It's 5 out of 10 for me for looks wise. As far as weight wise goes, I don't have a scale with me, unfortunately, but I can definitely figure out how to get that on screen for the weight. My guess is it's somewhere in the 7.5 ounce range, which again for a speed boot is like pretty average. The top end speed boots are down in the 6s, so that's something to consider. Even top 5s if you're looking at the SL editions of Puma boots and stuff like that. As far as weight goes, for a speed boot, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 10. So really not great, but like light and hopefully really comfortable. Let's hop straight into the on-feet portion of the video because I'm very excited to see how these fit and feel on feet when we are out on natural surfaces. Hopefully these will feel not as stud pressury as some of the other conical stud, or excuse me, some of the other chevron studs that I've had recently. So let's do that. Here we go. All right, fam, I've got the Furon V6 Plus wide leather. That's a mouthful. And I've got a handy dandy shoehorn in case there's some issues with what's going on. Okay, so very excited to try these on. Again, these are the wide variations, so that's something to consider when thinking about boots and how these are gonna fit and feel on feet. I am trying them on with really thin socks because I'm not sure how they're gonna fit. I wanna make sure that I'm all solid on the boot end, and they are very difficult to get on. Let's get this shoehorn in there, and they slide right in. Ooh, that's really cool. Okay, so the original version of these that I tried on were really tight on the width, especially in the midfoot. Now, these, because they are the wide version, are much more, they have a lot of width to them, and they are super, I actually really like them. They're really comfortable. That's awesome. Okay, amazing. So let's put this one on. This time we're gonna use the shoehorn first so that we don't just absolutely destroy the boots. And this is just a difficult process, ladies and gentlemen, so stick with me, please. These boots are exceptionally difficult to get on. Okay. This is crazy. I've never struggled this much to get in a pair of boots. Okay. Wow, that was hard. Okay, I don't know why that was so difficult to get in, because once they're on, they fit super snug. Okay, we'll get these out of the way. So, hopefully you guys can see on a lot of the B-roll that's going on right now, the knit material that's on like the ankle side, so what basically comes up around the ankle, is super nice. And I'm sorry if the wind noise is crazy right now. I'm gonna try to make this quick because it might pour rain on me in just a minute. But either way, we keep going, we keep reviewing boots. They're a soft, I think they're pretty padded. They fit really nicely, actually. The heel liner's pretty nice. It seems to be really sticky. I'm not gonna tie the boots right this second because my feet are a bit sore from a workout I did yesterday, or this morning. Yesterday, I had a rest day yesterday. What am I talking about? This morning, and yeah, but as far as width goes, man, like if you're a wide-footed player and you don't fit in the Puma 1.3s, you don't fit in the Speed Flow, and you're too wide for the Vapors, these might be a fantastic option for you. And I genuinely mean that. I know I kind of crapped on the boot earlier as far as like quality goes, but like, dude, if you can get these for 150 bucks, 170 bucks, and you fit in them for a wide-footed player, this might be absolutely perfect for you. Because these genuinely are like, these are super comfortable. Like I would wear these in a training session, no problem. And I think the leather, I don't know if I get the leather variation, I might get the synthetic one, just because there's an extra bit of padding, and then obviously the leather is sort of like just kind of slapped on the top. It's almost like some of the Tech Craft boots from Nike have been that way, where they've basically just slapped the leather on top and called it good. That's kind of the case with these ones, so it's not like a true leather feel. There's definitely like synthetic layer, then leather layer, and you have to kind of think about it from that perspective if that's something that you want to do. But overall, again, like this is a size 9 US. I will say these fit like exactly true to size. So if you don't like your toes up against the edge, they're not jammed, but they're up against the edge of the boot, I would really recommend maybe going half a size up if you want a little bit of extra space. I love boots that fit like incredibly tight. So these are great. These are really, really nice. These are perfect for the length. As far as width goes, they are a bit tight. They're a speed boot. That's how they're meant to be. But they're definitely better fitting than the ones that I reviewed when we came back from Australia. I reviewed those all white ones that looked really awesome, and they were super cool looking, and they were a great pair of boots, but they were way too thin, and this fixes that problem. So I reckon if I had the synthetic wide version, I would definitely be able to wear them in a game or a training session, minus obviously the chevron studs. I think if I was playing on a grass surface, I'd be much more comfortable with the chevron studs. But for now, I really have enjoyed playing with the conical studs. I'm really going with that right now. So that's the on-feet portion of the video. I'm not gonna play in these and do a play test simply because I don't wanna absolutely trash them before I have to return them. I do not usually keep a lot of the boots that I review simply because I don't have the space for it, and as a professional player I have to move all over the place and I don't have the storage room, so it's just something to think about. So when you guys do ask really great questions, and I really love when you ask questions about like, hey, what's the durability over time and stuff, sometimes I'm not going to know those answers simply because I don't have access to the boots for a long period of time. They're just sent to me as like, hey, review these and then give them back, and that's totally fine. And hopefully I can give you guys the best possible analysis of what I think they'll be in games, and that's hopefully my sort of niche in this space, is to be able to provide from a professional player's perspective like how they actually fit and how they would fit in a training session. Already I'm feeling the upper stretch a little bit. So again, if you're wide in the midfoot, these might be a really great option if you want something that's maybe a little less expensive, especially because you can get these in the US for like $150, $180 even, which is $20 cheaper than the Puma Ultra, which wouldn't fit your foot anyway, because if you got wide feet, these are going to be great. The regular variation of these is a good pair of football boots, and I would definitely recommend those from a speed boot perspective, especially if you can get them under what their retail value is at $210, $220. So that's kind of my conclusion. As an overall rating, I'd give these, for me, this is me personally, again, as I spoke about, chevron studs aren't my favorite thing anymore. I didn't really like them, to be honest. Like, they're just too aggressive for me. I like to be able to turn without feeling like I'm going to stick in the ground. But as far as an overall rating for these, honestly, they're going to be pretty high because they actually fit my feet really well straight out of the box, and I can't say that about any other speed boot on the market right this second other than the Speed Flow, which is a little bit tight, and they're definitely a little more, they're more flimsy than these. They have a much thinner upper, so it's just a different feeling boot. It's kind of in a different category almost. Overall rating, 7 out of 10 for these. Like, genuinely, I think these are good. I'm pretty critical of most boots, and for me, these are a solid 7 out of 10 for the wide variation for wide-footed players. If you're normal, like kind of traditionally, well, not traditional, I guess, but like a very average width foot, I think these would be much lower on your list. So maybe like a 4 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. For me, these are a 7 because they actually are probably the only speed boot that I could hop in and feel super comfortable in. That's it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today for this awesome review of the wide variation of the leather Pro V6 Furon. Let me do that over again. The Furon V6 Plus wide leather. That's the name. If you got value from this video, hit that like. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. I do all sorts of day in the life content, tons of training stuff, and of course, pro player boot reviews, which I think are so much fun. I absolutely love them. Comment down below what you guys want to see next. What's the next boot on your list? I am trying to get that Mizuno boot that I mentioned, the Morelia Neo 3 Betas, in as quickly as possible. I can't find them in my size anywhere, but we will get those in very soon. Thanks so much for joining me today. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.